John, you'll never catch me. On the other end of the line, Amanda's voice was sharp and grating. On the phone screen she and Mark held up a Las Vegas marriage certificate, grinning brazenly and provocatively. You think we're just an ordinary couple? For 8 months I was your wife in front of you, but behind your back I was secretly planning and living with Mark. Now you finally understand, you'll never measure up to me. I held the phone, breathing evenly. She thought she'd won, but she didn't see that every contempt, every betrayal, had quietly been logged into my ledger of revenge. In a few days she would be humiliated, regretful, powerless to fight back, all born of the seeds she had planted with her own hands. Back in the years before, Amanda always asserted herself as smart and free, using that identity to put me down. She loved humiliating me in front of friends, saying I had job stress, a steady income but no romance, that I was always like an obedient middle-aged boy, unable even to resist. At every family gathering she would smile and point out my faults. John, you only know how to keep accounts, you don't know how to enjoy life. Look, he even times birthday gifts to when he gets paid. How pathetic. I endured it then. Not because I was weak, but because I knew some impulsive reactions wouldn't earn respect. I saved, bought a house, planned for the future. Amanda once mocked me as being like a prisoner, but she never realized that this rationality would become my weapon of revenge. When I received the Las Vegas wedding news, I felt almost no anger, only clear judgment. Amanda had underestimated me. She had forgotten that I controlled all the practical levers, and she had forgotten that I never panicked in the face of humiliation. Looking back over the last 8 months, even 8 years, I had been quietly accumulating my chips. She thought her freedom was unlimited, but in truth my capacity for revenge was quietly growing. At 3 in the morning I screenshot all her account activity and uploaded it to an encrypted cloud. At the same time I printed bank statements, credit card bills, and previous emails as evidence. Those items were enough to destroy her facade both legally and socially. The phone rang. It was Mark, with a touch of unease in his voice. Amanda says she's completely in control now. You won't be angry, will you? I smiled lightly. Cool. After hanging up I walked to the kitchen counter and stared out at the rainy night. That night I wasn't just closing accounts, I was paving the way for what came next. Every message and provocation from Amanda felt like she was building a bridge that would carry her straight to ruin. For the next few hours I methodically handled the house, finances, and security. Amanda never expected that, in her complete confidence, I could push her into a position where she couldn't resist. Looking back, her arrogance, mockery, and taunts became the foundation of my plan. Every humiliation was a lesson, every slight an evidentiary piece, every challenge a direction. I realized Amanda was merely the fuse, the real play would be written by me. I packed the last box into the garage, shut the door, and heard the tires on wet pavement outside. 10 minutes later Amanda, Mark, her mother and sister returned, this time with a larger audience, neighbors, friends, and 2 strangers holding phones. The air outside felt frozen, everyone's eyes focused on the new door I had just installed. Can we come in? Isn't that your house? Amanda's voice outside was deliberately low and cutting, as if performing. I opened the door and stood on the porch, the light stretching my shadow. Amanda's face was pale, her dress rumpled, her eyes red but her pride undiminished. Her mother, Barbara, planted her hands on her hips as if preparing for a family assault. Mark looked more like a wronged child, holding 2 freshly printed wedding photos. You can't just throw me out like this. Amanda shouted. Her voice landed like a stone in the neighbors' ears, stirring a ring of gossip. I held my phone out to her, the screen showed neatly arranged screenshots, bank records, and their chat logs. My tone was calm, like reading an inventory. This is the marriage certificate photo you sent last night. Here's the screenshot of the grab the money plan you wrote. Here are the withdrawals from our joint account over the past month. And here are the messages you sent to friends about moving money. Amanda froze. Her mother was the first to speak. This is slander. You can't take private chats and call them evidence. Her voice trembled but carried intense anger. This is my property, I have the right to protect it, I said crisply. You exposed private conversations, treated our joint account like your ATM, then in the middle of the night sent taunting messages claiming you married someone else. You put the evidence in front of me. Neighbors murmured. Some colleagues who knew me well shot me supportive looks. Amanda tried to snatch the phone, slapping my hand roughly. Give me the phone, that's private, I'm calling the police. Call them. I handed her the car keys. You can call the police and tell them how wronged you feel. But before they come, pack up your things. My lawyer's advice, take what personal items you need, I'll keep a record. Don't attempt to use the card, it's already been blocked. She rushed into the kitchen and grabbed boxes of clothes like a frantic performer. Mark tried to help, but when he attempted to pay the U-Haul deposit with Amanda's card, the POS machine flashed, declined. He went pale. His mother, Sarah, panicked. "Mark, use my card." But Sarah's card had also been flagged by the bank for suspicious activity and required phone confirmation. Watching them flounder, I didn't gloat. I calmly outlined the next steps: an hour to pack personal items, no shouting at neighbors, no vandalism. I placed their boxes on the driveway and forbid entry to the house interior. Any legal claims could go through attorneys. Amanda looked at me as though a performative script had been dismantled. She first stunned, then frenzied. "You control everything. You're an abuser. You locked me out. You used me as a tool and took my money. This is domestic violence." Her accusations swelled like fire, amplified by those around her. Someone started live streaming. The red recording dot in their phones made social media feel instantly present at our doorstep. I remained unflustered. I focused my energy on facts and evidence. Give those accusations to the police and the courts. I have transaction records, message timestamps, the things you posted. If you choose to amplify lies on social media, I'll present the evidence. Over the following days, Amanda launched a full-blown social media assault. She posted tearful videos claiming she'd been abused and driven from the home. Her mother and sister flooded comment threads with extreme language against me. I received anonymous calls at the office, clients checking in, and even distant acquaintances privately messaging to ask if I had a domestic violence record. I knew how fast this kind of story could spread and how dangerous public opinion could be, but I also knew that false campaigns often crumble before concrete evidence. Working with my lawyer, I organized a comprehensive counter-strategy. I compiled the chat logs into a timeline showing Amanda's 8-month contact with Mark, from initial overtures to concrete, money-moving plans. I exported bank transfers and spending to show the flow from our joint account and flagged suspicious withdrawals. I preserved recordings and emails where she had belittled me in front of friends, and I backed up every piece of evidence in legally admissible ways. I did not publicly post the evidence. My lawyer advised that legal channels would be more effective than online warfare. Instead, I submitted the evidence to HR and to the compliance office at the company where Mark and Amanda both worked. The company had strict policies against workplace relationships and misuse of company resources. The compliance team moved quickly and began an investigation into whether they violated company rules, particularly in their use of company email, Slack and social accounts. Sure enough, within 2 days the company's legal team notified us. Mark and Amanda were suspended pending investigation, then informed of the formal inquiry. The news spread like an avalanche through their social circles. Mark's mother began to panic. "You're going to ruin my son." But as the company's official communication made the seriousness of the situation plain, many withdrew support. Then came Amanda's social media storm, but technical friends in my circle, like David, took screenshots and saved key posts. David anonymized the crucial conversations and passed them to my lawyer with my authorization. The lawyer then submitted the key chat records to the company and the court. The company turned the incident into an internal case study, and the consequences for Amanda were swift. She was dismissed from her position. Her mother raged in cafes on the phone and found her social support evaporating. People who had vocally criticized me quietly deleted comments, saying, "We'll wait for evidence." A few neighbors who had seen Amanda mock me at gatherings came forward to testify about how she spoke of me in front of others. Meanwhile, Mark's family life unraveled. He had believed marrying Amanda would change his life. Instead, he found himself swept into a larger mess. After the company fired him, his social circle ostracized him. Those who had supported him moved away. Investigations showed he had concealed Amanda's married status from his mother and repeatedly used company resources to facilitate meetings, all stains on his future career. When legal proceedings began, Amanda tried to claim the Las Vegas marriage was the result of a drunken impulse and argued her behavior in the divorce was driven by emotional pressure. Her attorney submitted an emotionally charged statement accusing me of being a control freak and claimed she'd long been under psychological threats. She requested temporary support and a restraining order against me. My lawyer smiled and replied with a concise rebuttal: 8 months of chat logs, her own messages, bank statements, and her public provocations mapped in a timeline. In court, the lawyer presented her own words, showing the chain of evidence. Before marrying, she had openly discussed plans to divert funds and collude with a third party. Chats included explicit wording like, "We'll move some money and when she notices, we'll leave." The judge frowned. The procedure was calm and precise. Legally, the collected evidence was sufficient to refute her claims of coercion. On the day of the hearing, the courtroom was packed. Amanda wore an elegant white dress, but her eyes told a different story. Her mother wept quietly beside her, her sister fussed with her phone as if arranging a performance. Amanda's lawyer tried to convey her suffering, to sway the judge with emotion, but evidence acted like a barrier, dividing sentiment from fact. My lawyer turned pages of the chat records at the evidence table, voice steady. The court can see that the plaintiff repeatedly planned to divert funds and conspired with a third party. She registered a marriage in another jurisdiction, and prior to that she habitually concealed the relationship at work and used company resources to arrange meetings. This was premeditated, not a case of being forced. At that moment Amanda's expression shifted, from pride to astonishment to fear. She bowed her head and scribbled on a sheet of paper, breathing fast. The judge asked a few brief questions. The crucial one was, "Plaintiff, why didn't you disclose in your submissions the private chats where you explicitly discussed taking the money?" Her answer was fragmented and contradictory. In the end, the court's decision was swift and clear. The Las Vegas marriage did not carry the weight to disrupt marital property claims in the plaintiff's favor. The divorce ruling supported my petitions, confirming that marital assets should be allocated according to lawful procedure and true marital contributions. Amanda's claims were dismissed for lack of credible evidence and for deliberate concealment. She was ordered to return part of the funds she had extracted through illicit means and to cover some legal fees. When the verdict came out, social media began to flip. The sympathetic posts were deleted one by one and replaced with questions and criticism of her conduct. Her mother was confronted by Women in the Park, a database of names connected her to the scandal. Mark, too, was reported internally and dismissed. A long shadow of unemployment lay over him and his family. Amanda's pride collapsed. One dusk she knocked at my door, her eyes pleading, this time not with a televised performance but with genuine, ashamed supplication. "Please, John, I beg you, don't make this bigger. I made a mistake, I'm scared, I don't know what to do." Her voice choked. I looked at her and remembered how she once mocked me in front of friends, calling me a numbers freak. Now she was begging me. I felt no rush of anger, only a procedural, measured reply. "List what you need to take, my lawyer will assist. The law has spoken, we'll follow it." She crumpled down on the wooden step, revealing real helplessness for the first time. "I'll pay it back. I'll apologize. I beg you, don't send me into a ridiculous abyss." "An apology doesn't erase 8 months of planning," I said flatly. "But if you sincerely want to make amends, the law will give you a chance. The first step is to face the facts and accept the consequences." Her lips trembled and a few tears rolled down. Her mother sobbed, "We all did wrong, we are family." Her sister's eyes flickered, weighing which side would win more sympathy. Amanda was forced to move back in with her parents months later. Her career was interrupted and her social circle nearly collapsed. Her accounts online went quiet, occasional sympathetic posts surfaced, but more people used her case as an example of morality and consequences. Mark's future was ruined too. He had to start over, humbled and learning to take responsibility. As for me, cleaning up the aftermath was unspectacular. Lawyer fees, emotional adjustments, and explaining myself to people around me consumed time and energy. When asked if I regretted my calmness or my sternness, I simply said, I did what needed to be done. I framed the midnight text and that Las Vegas photo in the lawyer's office, a piece of evidence, and a cautionary memento. Life returned to order. I sold the house for a good price, moved cities, and bought a small downtown apartment. The routine of 9 to 5 gave me new freedom. I began running again. My morning route looped around the river and sunlight fell on my face like something that let me breathe again. I met a new friend, Claire, at a community event. She was witty, kind, and didn't pry into my past. When I told her the story she listened earnestly, without curiosity or mockery. At the end she said softly, "You deserve to be treated kindly." Finally, Amanda appeared in an interview and cried as she admitted her mistakes, saying desire had clouded her judgment and she'd thought a rash choice could change her life. Some viewers sympathized, others said she had only herself to blame. One day in the park I ran into Amanda. She didn't ask to reconcile or stage any drama. She looked much thinner, with a reflective gaze. She walked up, stood at a distance, and quietly said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything I put you through." I nodded. My reply was like a composed letter, "I hope you learn to take responsibility and to be honest. Then you won't hurt others or be taken advantage of." She lowered her head and we both walked off in different directions, our shadows long beneath the park's plane trees like the embers of the past. The story ends on a calm morning. I sat by the window with coffee while the street basked in clean sunlight and the city moved on. I'm not a boastful victor, just someone cornered who didn't break. I learned to gather strength in the face of humiliation, to answer lies with evidence, to defend the truth with the law. Revenge wasn't about venting, it was about letting truth stand, making wrongdoing pay its price, and enabling myself to breathe quietly in future days without the noise controlling me. A knock came at the door. Claire stood there with a smile and 2 cups of hot cocoa. "Come on, let's have some breakfast," she said. Sunlight lit her smile. I rose to open the door. Inside me there was no hatred, only the calm of a fresh start.